And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back into, oh my god, to another week, another edition of some lovely KFC, some KungFu Cup action. Of course, WTL 2023 Winter KungFu Cup round number 8. I'm your host, Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by my plushies, and by these amazing players that I haven't casted in far too long. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. The bracket, it's massive, it's huge, it's insane, and it feels like it's 2020 again. It's been far too long. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the South Korean Zerg player. Representing the Kwangdong Freaks, it is Armani. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the reigning world champion. We have the Chinese Terran, the blue Terran representing KranKy Gaming. It is Oliveira. Here we go, and again, we have been casting Armani a little bit more recently. Of course, he did join the Kwangdong Freaks, and they have been active this season in WTL, bringing back some old school players like Armani, like Stats, Keen, for example, TY as well, and Su. They've all kind of come together as an old school team to represent Africa and the Kwangdong Freaks, of course. And this is the first time that Armani has played in KungFu Cup, period. Again, Armani, he did retire for some time. He stepped away from the game, recently coming back, and this is what I've been waiting for. I mentioned this at the very start of the season of WTL. I was so happy to see Kwangdong Freaks actually qualify for WTL, for the team league, because it's like, oh, this means that they're going to play more, and kind of. Stats has been a little bit more regular, yes. But outside of that, we haven't seen much Keen, we haven't seen much Armani. Now, 8 weeks into the season, we get some Armani here in KungFu Cup, and he has a mountain to climb. He's up against one of the best Terrans in the world. He's up against literally the reigning champion. We'll see if he can keep up. Honestly, like, upon seeing some of Armani's games, like we have been casting him in WTL, his macro looks solid. Like, if he's able to get into the mid game, into the late game in a good position, like in a state with a stable economy, then he can really thrive. But getting there is the issue, and with this 2-Rax opener, it's going to be difficult to get there unscathed. We do have Reapers on the way here from Oliveira already. First Reaper is making its way across the map, going to be threatening the mineral line here against Armani. Lings, they come out in time. Armani is going to be delaying his third base at least a little bit longer here. He's now taking his third on location. Bit of a greedy maneuver. We'll see if he can get away with it. We'll see if he can get away with that third base. Queen does pop out. Link speed is well underway as we did not pull out. And the Reapers are being fended off. Are being forced back. We have additional Reapers on the way, so the goal here from Oliveira is to deny the third. Deny the third and contain Armani to 2 bases for that much longer. Again, taking the third base was very greedy, and it does force a reaction from Oliveira. The reaction is to go up to 5 Reapers. The Reapers are in production, they're on the way, and they should be able to force a cancel. Link speed is still a ways off here for Armani. It's not going to finish up in time. There's nothing that he can really do about this, and again, he's just going to be stuck on those 2 bases. Link's getting ready for a surround though. We're going to try and save it. Oh, nah, there's no saving it. No shot. Oh, no shot. A couple shots away from going down. And it looks like we should see a kill. No, that's a kill. No. We should have seen it cancel. That was a kill instead. That is 300 minerals down the drain. Ay, that was a hefty loss for Armani. That should not have happened. He was being too greedy. He was trying to save that third base. There's wondering why I was putting so much emphasis on that. When you go for a 2-Rax Reaper opener like this, the goal and like what you can accomplish is denying the third. And Armani was so greedy taking his third base upon scouting the build, and so greedy trying to hold on to it, and alas, it did not work out in the end, and Armani is now far behind. 300 minerals this early on is insane. Absolutely insane. And yeah, Oliveira, he's got a really nice start here to the game. He's going to be getting into his third TC here in the main base as well. It's going to be 3CC before Banshee. Oh, sorry, I should say 3CC 2-on-1 as it is underway. So a very economic follow-up here from from Oliveira, and Armani has a lot of catching up to do. I mentioned before that, like, hey, if he's able to get into the mid game or the late game, like in a stable economy, is going to be looking good. This is not that. This is this is not the start that we were really hoping for here. We have +1 carapace in production to deal with the 2-1-1. Should finish up in time. Armani's droning. I would almost want Armani I want him to double expand, but he can't. Like, okay, so typically if you're forced to cancel your third base, by the time you gain control of this area, by the time link speed kicks in, you double expand because you have the money for it. Here Armani doesn't have the money for it because he lost 300 minerals, so yeah, he's still just limping along here. We have a Bailey Nest on the way. We're getting into queen production as well. Oliveira is beginning his move out, and oh my god, interesting variation here. So it is a 3cc 2-on-1, a late add-on swap here from Oliveira. He will eventually kick in with a medevac drop, that is true, but he's going for a Liberator first. It is going to be spotted by this Ling. Armani does see it ahead of time. Should be, there we go, responding with his queens. Does rotate over. Spores are on the way as well in the main base, in the natural, and of course queens are here at the third. He should be okay. This Lib shouldn't find any damage. The queens are in position. Liberator, oh my, taking a lot of hits. Taking a lot of hits to the face is going to be forced back. Behind this, of course, we do have that eventual push on the horizon, and there it is. The drop play is moving out. We have some helis to support as well. Armory is just about to finish up. Well ahead of time, the eBays are also just now finishing up for 1-1, so this is going to be a Hellbat push. A 2-on-1 Hellbat push here from Oliveira. Does Armani have enough? Looking at the units tab, we have 8 queens. That's a good queen count. We have a couple of Bailings. We have 37 Lings as well. We should be able to deal with this depending on the engagement, depending on the surround, and here we go, we're pushing in. Scan does reveal the Bailings. He's coming in from behind. They do dive in forward, and it looks like the Hellbats, they take the Bailings to the face. Good target firing, but it's just too much, and Oliveira is forced back. Armani survives. He does hold on. He's still behind economically, unfortunately. We have an even base count, and Oliveira does have a higher worker count, plus mules on top of that, so Oliveira still has a hefty economic lead. He's going to rotate around, gets eyes on the fourth base, shouldn't be able to touch it though, there just aren't enough Marines. He lost too many in his first push. And Armani, he's holding on. He's still not in an amazing position. He still hasn't stabilized, but we're getting there. We're getting there. As the gases are being taken, overloads are on the way. Oliveira's macro is insane behind this again because of his economic lead. Oliveira is looking to snowball out of control. These pushes, each one of them is going to be kind of a mountain to overcome here. Armani, he needs to try to hold on. Bailing speed just now starting here for Armani. He's got 1-1 on the way. +2 carapace still hasn't started yet. Don't really have the resources for it. And here comes the push. Marines this time with tanks. Tanks are looking to get in position. Bailing's also trying to waddle on forward as well. Bailing speed is not going to be done for this. A lot of creep is receding. We're going straight for the base, straight for the hatchery. Queen's going to be threatening. We do have us around. Oliveira, he does notice in time. He pulls back. The Bailings don't find the best connections, but we do get on top of one of those tanks. The other, they're getting so many hits, and the target firing on the Bailings. Bailings go down. The Marines, they can stim on forward. They take down the Queens one after the other. Again, a very efficient trade here from Oliveira. Even if he doesn't kill this base, it's already worth it. And he may just kill the base. As Bailing speed has finished. The target firing is too good. We have 2 Bailings left. We have 1 Bailing left. And soon to be a couple more here. As you do barely pick up. Queen goes down to the Liberator. Here come reinforcements, and this is too much. Again, the lead that Oliveira got early on was too much, especially on Golden Aura, where the rush assist by ground is so short. Hatchery goes down, and we can keep pushing. We can keep on pushing. Armani barely holding on here, trying to expand towards the south, take another 4th base. Link's trying to catch some reinforcements as well, and that's a good start. It is going to be a good start. Yeah, we catch a couple of Marines. A couple of Marines are going to be going down, but this main army cannot be dealt with. Widowmine shots do not go off. Lings do hit the 4th, but that's the 4th. Armani barely on 3 base economy. Decent Bailey connections. Mines are going to be going off across the map. Reinforcements, they clean up the Lings. There just isn't enough to deal with them. It looks like Oliveira, he's running out of steam a little bit here. He only has 5 Marines remaining. But GG gets called. The writing's on the wall, and Oliveira will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A solid game out of Oliveira, and just a couple too many. I say a couple too many mistakes. Just one big mistake. One big mistake from Armani to lose that third base at the start of the game, for it to be killed and not cancelled. That was a choice that Armani made. That was a choice. That was him trying to be greedy and trying to get away with murder. Alas, was not able to, not against the reigning world champion, and Oliveira does take a 1-0 lead. Armani, can he redeem himself here? Oh, can he redeem himself in the next game? In game number 2, as we are getting ready for it, we are getting into Alkione. Let's go. I should fix this, hold on. Every time. Bam, there we go. Tearing. I'm catching up in the chat. Oh, este fuego, papi. Hello, papi. Hello. Smile. Catching up with the chat. Hello, Smile, Sounder, Werehog, Jadoff as well. Aistan. Bienvenidos. Welcome. For 20th. Beautiful. 12 crack. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. It's me, your favorite internet micro celeb. Gah, papi, gah. Hello, hello. Let's go, the normal man, the normal human, papi, the normal human. It's so good, so good. But hopefully, personally, I would love to see an ace match between these two players, but it's not on me, it's on them. It is on our Zerg player here to tighten up the early game, especially to be able to, again, have a stable economy, get into the mid game. That's what I hope for, but we'll see how things turn out as we load in to game 2. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing the Kwangdong Freaks. It is Armani. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Chinese Terran player, the reigning world champion, leading the series 1-0, representing DragonKy Gaming. It is Oliveira. Here we go. And Oliveira once again going for a low ground Rax variation. Could be a 2 Rax, could be a single Rax into a factory. I'm picturing 2 Rax, so like, especially because Oliveira, he had so much success in the last game. Getting a kill on a hatchery was insane. And Armani, he's had enough. Here we go, one way or another. We're going to have aggression here in the early game. We're going for a gas pool opener here from Armani. With this fast gas geyser, he can rush into Ling speed, or he can go into a fast Roach Warren behind this and get into a Roach rush. I'm feeling roaches. I'm feeling roaches here from Armani. It is going to be 2x. Now, the downside is that Armani's taking a bit of a gamble. He hasn't scouted yet, and from our experience covering and casting as much Beyond as we have, early game Roach rushes are something that Zerg players were trying out back in the day. At the start of the year, when Beyond was refining and whipping out this 2x Reaper build, and when no one else is doing it outside of Beyond and of course Maru as well, players were trying to punish this. Players were trying to go for like these Ling Bane aggression and Roach rushes, and it just wasn't working. Beyond, he shut it down, and he got so many wins over players like Solar and Dark early on, as they were trying to see how you could punish this and what you could do against this. And very quickly they found out that you can't. So I'm a little bit concerned with what Armani brings to the table. And here we go. It is going to be Ling speed. He's pulling out a gas, so it is not Roaches. It is going to be fast Ling speed to very quickly shut down these Reapers. I'm a little bit torn here. This is, of course, a little bit less efficient. The economy here from Armani is going to be lacking. Reaper comes in, does confirm the hatchery is late. And we should be aware that something is wrong. Something is amiss. Oliveira doesn't have confirmation yet as to what it could be. Still in the dark. He's checking for a third base. Checking the triangular third position from here. Going to be dipping into the main. He needs to see if there's a Roach Warren. Like, that's the thing. It's a very real possibility. And he is being zoned away. Meanwhile, behind this, already working on his add-ons. Working on that next step. Oliveira fanning out the rest of his Reapers. Looking for a way in, whether it's a Roach Warren or a Baleen Nest even. We can see that Armani's droning. Like, he only made a handful of Lings, and Ling speed does kick in. It has been revealed. Good positioning here from Oliveira. Does escape. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Never mind. Reaper does make it out. Additional Reapers, they check. They see the saturation at the natural, which means he knows that we're droning. He knows it's not an all-in, and immediately, third CC. Third CC, factory on the way. We're just building up and working on the follow-up. Oliveira knows he's safe. And this opener from Armani hasn't been worth it. Like, you could kind of argue, like, oh, but, you know, he gets a third, and this time it isn't killed. True, but it's also very late. He invested very early on into all these Lings, and they just haven't really paid for themselves. Reapers, they dive into the main base, into the natural as well. And we do get behind the mineral line. We do get eyes on the very early Evo chamber. Sub 4 minute Evo chamber. That's Reapers are finally being cleaned up. This Evo chamber is going to be leading into fast +1 carapace. This can go one of two ways. We can either get into really fast +1 melee, which is probably going to happen as well, or we can try to rush into fast +2. But +2 obviously requires a lair, and we haven't really hyper fixated on gas production. So yeah, just fast upgrades on the way, and oh, it is going to be a Roach Warren. Let's go. We have a fast Roach one from Armani, so he's going to be playing Roach Ravager, which means this could be leading into +1 range instead of +1 melee. We could still go either or. Like, these Roaches could either be the main core of the army for Armani, or they could just be supportive units if he still wants to go melee. It does have that available to him if he so chooses. Until then, 3CC 2-on-1. This is the same build that we saw in game number 1. Obviously, the biggest difference is that Oliveira didn't find the need to keep making Reapers, so he transitioned faster because the third base was already delayed, so he didn't have to keep making Reapers. And of course, fast link speed, so didn't want to waste them, didn't want to throw them away. He's just building up back at home. Armani already making a wave of Roaches here. Interesting choice. Link's on the way as well. I'm getting conflicting messages here because he's kind of droning a little bit. He's saturating his third, but now he's hyper-fixated on the army. It looks like he does want to hit a timing here with +1 carapace, not necessarily with +1 range or melee. Some fast upgrades here for Armani, finishing up just in time for the double drop. Oliveira going to be pushing in. I'm sure he clicks on the army. He does see the +1 carapace is done. At the same time, Ling counterattack, denying mining here at the third base, but we have reinforcements, and the Lings are forced back. Meanwhile, Armani once again just squeezing out a couple of drones here and there. We have Lair on the way. There it is, +1 melee, so he only has Roaches to support his army. He still intends to go Ling main. Not so heavy on the Roach Ravager. And hey, he's minimizing losses in a way. It's true that this double drop hasn't really done any damage, but in a way it has, because we've been making so many Roaches and Lings and Ravagers now. This has impacted negatively the income. The worker count here of Armani is still very low. We don't have a fourth base either, just because he's been investing so heavily here into this army, into all these units. Armani going to be spreading Creeper on the right hand side. I imagine he wants to take this as his fourth, or he could expand towards the north instead. Overlord's going to be going down. Baleen Nest now on the way. Lair finishing up for Baleen speed. And this drop play is just so annoying to deal with here. Armani being pulled back left and right. Does rock up in the main base. Biles not going to be connecting. And Oliveira will boost the hell out of there. Behind this, 4th CC is on the way, so Oliveira, he isn't going for a 3-base all-in. He isn't going for an 8 racks or anything like that. Very standard macro-oriented play. I say macro-oriented. He's going for some split pushes, and so far he's finding damage. He gets a queen. Gets a queen, gets the active tumors, picks up. Going to be threatening this northern edge here for Armani. At the same time, double drop on the left-hand side. Pushing in, he's looking to force a cancel on this 4th. Hopefully not a kill. Up. Up. Oh my. Bappy. We had time. We were paying attention. We had eyes on the Roach Raptor. That's the second time. That's a kill, not a cancel. Have we unbound cancel? That's the second time this series. 2 games in a row. That's brutal. That's actually brutal. Ay. Not like this. 300 minerals down the drain this early on. These are losses that, again, they're brutal, to be honest. Like, resources are finite at the moment. We don't have too much of an economy to work with, and it hurts. Here we go. Oliveira is just pushing through the center, clearing up a lot of this creep. Armani going into a Spire. I do like this as a way to shut down the drop play. Like, clearly Oliveira is being very active with his army, and it's a good way to try to shut that down. But it may just be too little too late, because here comes the push. Oliveira, his macro has been insane. He is up 20 supply. He's got 4 tanks, and he's pushing right through the center, right towards the third base of Armani. And Armani's in a lot of trouble. He's working on a hive. He's teching right now. He's teching. He doesn't have the biggest army. Ling Bang tries to come in first around. There is potential. If he's able to catch Oliveira unsieged, connect with Biles, and maybe he can make something happen. But Oliveira, he's going to be rotating around instead. Pushing towards the would-be 5th base. Ling Bang's rolling in. Wow, but the tank line is insane. Armani, he can try to come in from behind. These tanks looking a bit exposed. One is going to go down. We could even go for the next. And 2 tanks. Not too bad. Again, really good angle from Armani. Here we go. Surround is real. Tanks are getting caught off guard. They're going to be biled down as well. And Armani is going to force this back. As we go for a drop into the main. At the same time, a double drop here on the left-hand side. And we're going straight for the 4th base. The workers. Oh my god, the mine drags are insane. We get every single worker here. 13 workers go down. And this is becoming too much. This entire mineral line. At the same time, we're just pushing in towards the 3rd. Getting very low. Armani, he's trying to take up into a greater Spire, actually. Not Mutas. Which, at this point, makes sense. But Oliveira, he's just gotten too much momentum over the course of this game. He has snowballed out of control. He's close to maxing out, and Armani is barely holding on. We have a lot of larva to work with, but we're lacking injects. We're lacking larva, bases, economy. Here we go, Oliveira. The pre-split is insane. The concave is real. Files are kind of going to be connecting. Does take some bailings to the face, but I don't think Oliveira cares. Not anymore. Good split here for these parasitic bombs. The Medivac's going to be bunching up a little bit, but GG gets called. There's just too much Terran, too much Oliveira, and it will take the series 2-0, eliminating Armani. GG. GG. As Oliveira will take the series 2-0. I mean, again, he came in as the favorite player, but a shout out to Armani. He has a very special place in our hearts. He is one of the first Korean pro gamers that we ever casted on our channel, fun fact, back in 2020. Up until then, we were only casting like Latin American players or Southeast Asian players. We were focusing on mainly regional events, and yeah, I think Armani, he was one of our first Koreans, which was you know, again, a momentous occasion for the CranKy Ducklings, where we were covering TvZ at the time, TvZ. But alas, here, he just too many mistakes here throughout the course of this series, having a really hard time keeping up with his opponents. I wasn't too in love with the opener either, going for that fast gas, going for the gas pool opener here from Armani, did set him behind, and he just wasn't really finding the damage he really needed to equalize and stabilize. And with that, that is our first series in the books, and now we can hop on over here, have a look at the challenge bracket, and what kind of updates are we working with? Where we at?